Well, good morning, magandang umaga, and welcome to today's episode of My PI Dream. Today's build day 45. Yes, build day 45 on the construction schedule of the pool build in the backyard of Feliz. Tile work, stonework, that's pretty much the main focus of today. But we'll get to see some intricate tile work because it has to do with things like the skimmer. Getting inside the skimmer to make it part of the finish of the rest of the wall of the swimming pool. Let's go ahead and get today started. Now without further delay, let's get today's video underway. Well, it's just after lunch right now. The guys are getting back to work, and you probably notice it looks like there's a bunch more people here, and you're probably saying to yourself, James, what did you feed those guys for lunch? They're multiplying. Now the original crew's back here again from remember a couple of weeks ago when we had the big crew down here. So the crew's been reinforced, and I imagine one of the things that they're going to be doing today, we have a lot of Waterfall stone that needs to be done. So I have a feeling that it's going to go into full production of the sidewalk and the columns and the planter. So we should see a lot of progress by close of business today, and if they continue to come in the days to come. Now somebody made a comment about when do you think they're going to start doing the floor inside the swimming pool? Well, I imagine if it were me, I don't have this strategy, but for me, if I were building, logic would dictate that I wouldn't do the floor until the very last thing, because you tend to have a possibility, a chance to damage the tile from things dropping inside. And since this is a polished, everything's like a polished finish, very fine tile, we don't want to take any chances. So I'm going to guess that that's what they're doing. Again, not the expert, but that's how I would do it. Now, if you're tracking along with the time-lapse video that we're doing here, you see that we're kind of focusing now on the waterfall, and we have this slab here which presents a little bit of a challenge. Now the first option that the stone worker had here was he was going to use some pieces of the very thin stonework that he has here, and he was going to try to attach it. Well, you notice we've shaped it, so just imagine this before. I should have started this discussion before we actually did the work on here. But this was just a flat slab, a flat concrete slab at a 90-degree angle across. And imagine attaching this to the edge with some type of adhesive on the back, like we're using for the tile mosaic that we have inside the swimming pool. Well, as long as you have really good adhesive, and there is special type of adhesive that can you use, but you see this type of material here, it has layers, and it could tend to chip off and break. So even though the back layer might stay attached, this might actually fall off, and we don't want any type of hazard inside the swimming pool. So a thing I really like about this pool team that we have here is they're really open to suggestion. So I made a suggestion. I said, let's try this. Let's try making an approach to this very similar to if we were sculpturing and painting on canvas. So the concept I asked them to try is, let's make up a recipe of colored grout mix along with Portland cement. And we'll use these as our paint layers. Like if you were painting on canvas, you would start, if you were doing the sky, just imagine the sky, you start with all blue. You do a blue background, and then you take grays and white, and you make your clouds, which are layers of paint on top of the blue background. Well, the same concept we're trying to do here. I asked them to go ahead and let's mix up, and you see I have the little mixes. I have many different types of grouting from the build of Villa Feliz left over. I said, let's go ahead and make up a little recipe made up of some Portland cement for the adhesive quality and the color quality of the grout. Let's mix them together, and we'll start with a base coat. What we're doing is we're starting with a base coat of gray. So just imagine, let's kind of take a look at this piece right here, this piece of stonework. And you see the very back, if you break into any stone, it's going to have a gray inside. It's going to be the gray color inside. Then the outside are from the years and years of the aging that it has, water going over it, and the metal oxides and everything like that. So we're going to start with the gray, which is what we have right here. And as this dries, it will get closer to this color right here inside. And then what we're going to do, we're going to mix up a darker gray. So you see, like in this area, you see the darker sections right here? We're going to put another layer on top of the lighter gray, and we're just going to put it on and smooth it on and use a sponge to make it this kind of effect. And then the last thing we're going to do, I have something that's not quite as orange as this, but it's what I have. It's what I have left over. It is a tan color that I use for some of the grouting. So it's more like, maybe like this color of the tan orangish color, and we'll do that for our final layer on here, and we'll put it, it'll be random throughout, but to make it look just random like you see inside the stonework. Now I don't know that this is going to work, but I like this option better than the other, and who knows, we might have created our own new method of making concrete look like natural stone. We'll see at the end of the day. We should know by the end of the day whether this works or not. Alright, so after a little bit of playing around and testing and trying different things, this is our solution here for our how we treated the slab to make the slab look as close to the rock formation as possible. I don't think it's bad. Tell me what you think. I think we matched up. I had to use the colors that I had available here, and that's all my bags of grout over there. I had Bahama beige and gray and anthracite, and there was 4 colors I used, and it's still drying a little bit, but I think it's very close. I think it's very close. We got some dark spots for some shadows inside there. Now for my first time, mine and our rock worker JR, for the both of us doing this for the first time, I think it looks pretty good. It's still about 4:30 and the guys are still working here, and we're going to wrap it up in just a moment. We're going to do our end of day wrap up and close for the day. A lot of stuff going on today, especially once we picked up a few extra workers here. I said the cavalry came in. That's kind of a term that we use in the US when the recruits come in and they help out with the effort, and that's what they did today. You're going to see when we close today that there's a lot of stuff that is not completed, but well under the way. Now, before we go down and look at the amazing amount of stuff that was accomplished today, and also that neat handiwork that me and JR, the rock worker, did, which I think came out pretty good, I want to thank some people who actually stopped by here this afternoon. Occasionally, from time to time, people are looking for lots that are available. They saw the subdivision on our channel here, and then they stopped by and look at lots. So today I want to give a shout out to a family that came by, actually a couple of families that came by and stopped looking at some of the properties around here. And that is the Gabriel and Bumanlag family. I want to thank you guys for stopping by and having a quick chat with us here at Villa Feliz. But we're going to do a wrap up. Even though the guys aren't done, I imagine they're going to be continuing to work up until around 5 o'clock. So they're pretty busy over here right now. But I only have just a little bit of sunlight left, and I want to make sure I capture all this amazing work that was done today. So we're going to start. We'll start over here. Kind of noisy, lots of grinding, lots of dust. My eyes are just kind of burning from all this rock dust here. Well, anyway, the stone wall, you see the Ardal stone on our planner. Lots of progress on there. You know, when we were doing the columns for the bridges, the Ardal cutting and the stonework, to do about this amount normally took them about 2 days. Well, this is the amount of work that they got done today, just in this spot right here, with the amount of workers that we have. Now, I haven't been down here, but it looks like what our foreman over here is doing, he's doing some finishing work to make sure that this little access hole here for the water flow, that it's perfect. Now, one thing I gotta say about these guys, they are sticklers for perfection, and that's what he's working on right now. Also, I want you to look at the amount of stonework that is completed on this column. So now this column on this side at least, and this column is almost done on both sides. Still have some work to do in this area right here. Now, last but not least is something I'm particularly proud of, working with our stone worker here, and that's doing some of the stonework to try to make our slab, our concrete slab, look natural. And I know it's not perfect, but it's about as close as I think that we really need to have right here, because you're going to see a lot of the water is going to be flowing over. This is going to stay wet, so it's going to all blend in once the water starts flowing. And speaking of water flowing, I think tomorrow, JR, our rock worker, said we're going to do a flow test to see how the water works from the top of the waterfall down into the swimming pool. So the sun is slowly fading on the horizon. Very little light here right now, so we are going to close, and tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow will be build day 46 days of building here at Villa Feliz. Now, if we have the same level of effort, the same amount of resources and people tomorrow as we had today, we're going to be closing out on all that nice Ardal stone finishing very soon. I would say 1 or 2 more days for the planter and the wall, and then they have to do some on the sidewalk area very soon. And then we'll be doing the pebble rock. And then we'll be doing, I think, the floor. And then we might be swimming very soon. Okay, well, thank you for showing up today on today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. Please share. And if you have not subscribed, just click on that little MPID dream heart in the bottom right hand side of your screen. You'll be subscribed and notified the next time I upload a new video. So until such time, from right here in the Philippines, you have a wonderful and blessed day. If you enjoyed today's episode and you would like to see more just like these, just click on one of the helpful links over to your right, and you might be able to pick up on some good information on DIY projects, how to, or if you are interested in moving to the Philippines and building, you'll find answers there as well.